Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Avi, and today I will be playing a brand new character. His name is Vulp Macnamara, and today I am joined by the wonderful, the lovely, the ever amazing and talented.
Avi, I have just one request. Could you put down the mirror for a second while I introduce myself? Hello.
No,
Um,
I'm introducing you.
Shush, I bonk you with the mirror. Hello, I am Yubi Kieran, on the server's local soundboard. I am also playing a new character, who I'm quite excited to play, Elizabeth Trepp. She is a dragon researcher. No, she isn't a dragon. Yes, she's a researcher. She's a researcher of dragons. No, she is not secretly a dragonborn. No, she does not have wings. No, she doesn't have a tail. Stop trying to touch her back, please. Yeah, she's just an old, real kind human lady. And she's in Inkwell to do stuff.
Yeah. And you're in Ninquil to do stuff, mostly researching toon dragons. Is that right?
Yeah, so wonderful thing about her, she's a dragon researcher. She has come from another place far away. I haven't actually chosen the country for her yet, but she's basically come from a place that has a lot of dragons. And she has done a lot of things with those dragons in her lifetime. Um, just let's not talk about that right now though. And now she's here to research like toon dragons because she's heard about these. She may have even seen one once or twice, but she's never actually she's never actually like had the chance to study them properly.
Yeah, wonderful. So that means you are on the move pretty frequently here in Einquell, um, which is probably why you are trying to find a place to stay for a little bit in a specific town. I'll leave that up to you where exactly. Um,
Mm.
Tell me, what do you do when you enter the inn?
Well, as well, she's an adventurer. First thing she does is take stock of what the hell is going on with the inn. She needs to make sure she knows who's here and if there's anyone around she could talk to, or if there is, in fact, um, yeah, okay, fine. It's a 10 for
Uh,
perception.
Perception? Yeah, so you're walking
Yep.
into an inn, and I mean, he's not really hiding or anything. He's just vibing out here. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, he's fine. um, um, this you do have like the general like staff of the inn, who are
Mm.
going to like help you set up and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever you like. Um, and you do see that it is a pretty quiet evening. I have decided it is evening just now.
Yes. Yes, that's fine. She's been traveling all day, like since early morning. Like, there's a reason she's got a 10. She's knackered, man. She's got old bones, and she's a real kind. She's been traveling a long time, and she would like to get to a bar and have like a very quick drink before she can take a bed and get a nap.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, and like in the inn, there probably is like a bar or something of that sort. Um, there is already a another, I guess you could say, tenant, customer, something of that sort. Um,
Ooh.
uh, who is um who is also real kind. Let's start with that.
Ooh.
Um, and this individual is dressed in pretty odd clothes. Um, the closest race you can probably pin it down as is
Mm.
probably tabaxi, if
Yeah.
tabaxis could be foxes.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. I will say, is there like tables or like benches or anything here, or place to get a drink, or is it just
Yeah,
like a
like
service kind of deal?
yeah, there's probably like a in restaurant slash bar area,
Mm.
as well as the front desk.
Okay. Well, she's gonna clock that strange-looking tabaxi. Just walk over to the front desk and just be like. And I will say, while she's when she's come in, she does actually have a staff out that she's using as a kind of walking stick. And woman with her bun, with her hair in a bun and two loops around her ears, just kind of walks over to the front desk and says, "Excuse me, I don't suppose you have any rooms free at all."
As I tried to figure out a voice for a really quick NPC.
It's fine. You don't have to do a voice. You can just talk it and say, "Yeah, nah."
Yeah, no, this NPC who is currently the probably I guess it's a secretary, receptionist. There you go.
Yeah, that's the word.
Receptionist for the inn nods and quickly doing their work to get you set up with a room for the night.
Yeah, she just hands over the amount they request ahead. Then, it's gonna kind of look over her shoulder at where this, odd fox tabaxi is sitting down. And, yeah, she's gonna make her way over with a tunk shuffle as she, gonna approach this fox. Look down from where she's standing and say, "It's rather a nice evening, would you say?"
This fox, when you had been approaching, that thunk of your staff was probably audible, so you do see like
Yeah.
his ear like twitch in your direction.
Mhm.
And when you like stop by his side, I'm probably gonna say he's sitting at the bar. He probably has a drink in front of him. And tail kind of like hanging lazily from where he's sitting on the stool, and he kind of looks up at you. And he says, "Yeah, real. What's your voice? It's too close to errata."
It's a rata in a fox costume.
Oh God, no! He used this guy's self. No.
A rata in a fox onesie. Do it.
You know what? Screw it. I'll come up with a voice for him later. Arata's voice is already close enough to mine, and he just goes, "Yeah, it's a pretty nice evening."
She says, I don't suppose you would mind a quick bit of company before I retire, would you?" She gestures to the chair next to you.
He just kind of gives you a smile, and he says, "Go right ahead."
"Ah, thank you." And she's just gonna lean her staff onto the counter, and she's gonna shuffle a satchel she's had to her side around to the front as she slowly kind of moves over and just flops into the store. That, oh, goodness gracious. When you've been on your feet since early morning, finally getting a chance to sit down for something other than a spot of lunch is, honestly, it does good for your legs. And she will she will make a fist with her right hand, turn it upwards, and then knock on the counter, and look to see if there's anyone around to just serve her a quick drink.
Yeah, I'll say that the bartender probably like comes by and is ready to take your order.
Hey.
Yeah.
She's actually gonna look towards Vulp and raise around and say, "Well, is there anything that you'd recommend?"
Honestly, I just picked whatever was pretty much the first thing whenever I saw him. This is my first time here.
Fair enough. And she nods and then turns and just says, "Well, I'll have whatever you think. Have what he's having." And she gestures towards the fox.
And the bartender nods, and that bartender's gonna get you your drink.
Nice. She's just gonna nod and watch as they go away, and she stops and says, "Oh my, Oh, goodness. My apologies. I assumed you were he or a male. I probably should have asked beforehand. And then she holds out her hand and says, My name is Elizabeth. I am a dragon researcher. I don't suppose I could get your name?
You held out your hand, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. He leans forward and then he takes your hand in his and he says, "No, it's fine. Him works. My name's Vulp Macnamara."
He shakes your hands firmly and says, she nods and says, well, it's good to be meeting you, Vulp. I don't suppose, it's not often I see many real kind around Inkwell. I'll admit I'm rather new here myself. I've travelled to many places, but I've never quite managed to make my way over to Inkwell until now, for certain reasons. But it's, you're new here as well, then.
Can you say that last bit one more time?
She says, you're new here as well, then.
And he nods. After shaking your hand, he pulls it back and starts to take a drink. But he nods and says, "Yeah, only recently. I mean, this is the oh, what does he say? He says, yeah, I usually travel for different jobs, but this is the farthest I've ever traveled to."
She raises an eyebrow at you, and the loops of hair around her ears just kind of tilt a little. She puts her head to the side. Oh, are you here on a job then? How far have you come for your work?
No, I'm not here for work. And he kind of lifts a hand and smiles at the misconception, and he says, "I'm actually here for the exact opposite. This is supposed to be Vulp, you have to take a break, so here's a spot for vacation," kind of thing.
I'm gonna nod slowly at that, and has the bartender come back with her drink yet?
Yeah, I can say that right now. The bartender they give you your drink.
Hey, she's gonna look over at the bartender, nod, my thanks, and then she's gonna reach into her bag, and you're gonna hear the clink of coins, and she's gonna slide over some gold pieces. Actually, I'm gonna roll. Oh boy, I love that skill modifier. Good one though. She's gonna push some gold over to the bartender, and you can roll a perception if you want.
Vulp or the bartender?
Both, either or.
Alright, let's go with Vulp. What's your perception, buddy? Oh my god! Vulp!
What? Is that nat 20?
No!
Nat 1. Oh, Vulp. Vulp. Vulp, sweetie. Vulp, sweetie.
Vulp, this is your first roll!
First roll, and it's a nat 1. Auspicious start.
The bartender got a 15 though.
Bartender? You look down, and yeah, this woman has not only given you the gold required for the drink, she's also given you a hefty tip, as in pretty much the same amount as the drink. She's given you that much gold, and if you look up at her, she's just going to give you a wink and say, thank you for your services."
I mean, I think he's just gonna take it. This is a completely NPC bartender that I made
I
up
know.
on the spot, and I just
Look, I know, Arby. This is just what she would do.
Beloved.
She would just give someone else, she just does that. This is what she's like.
I love her already.
No. Yes, well,
yeah, I think
bartender, you get your tip.
yeah, the bartender takes
Vulp's
it.
Nice. Get yourself a new pair of clogs tonight. She's gonna turn back towards Vulp and then raise another eyebrow and say, "Oh, you're not here for work. On some sort of, what's the word they're using these days? Vacation, is it?" And while she's doing that, I'm gonna roll one of these.
Ooh, what is
Okay.
this?
Like a con save.
Oof. Oh boy.
Because she is a real kind drinking Toon stuff, and in my head, I'm like, if a Toon drinks real kind stuff, it gets strange. If a real kind drinks Toon stuff, it can get even stranger. Um, but she got a 15, so she drinks it down. It's just, you know, it's rather interesting. And she's going to take out another thing from her satchel. She's going to rummage around. She's going to pull out a book and just, it's a thick leather it seems to be leather. It might be leather bound book. Bonks it onto the counter with a thunk. And then she's gonna reach back in and she's gonna pull out lead, like stick of charcoal or lead, and just lay that next to her book. Flip it open to an empty page and start writing something down. And then she turns towards you and says, "Oh, so you're not here for work then? Is it vacation of sorts?"
Yeah, you could say that.
I believe that's insight time.
Yeah.
I believe that's insight time. What's your insight? And I look at this woman and her stats. 12.
Alright. Yeah, there's a bit of, like... okay. You are right in thinking that this is a vacation, but there is, like, a tone of something. In Vulp's voice, you're not exactly sure what it is, but he's just kind of nodding. Oof.
Okay, well, this person is a stranger, and it's not her place to pry, so she'll just nod. Alright then, well, have you been anywhere? I know you said you were new around here, but have you been to anywhere specific in Inkwell, or are you just have you just literally just arrived straight off the boat, as it were?
He does kind of, there's something of, like, of a lopsided smile, when you say straight off the boat, and he says, yeah, I literally just got off the ship, the other day, so I've just been kind of wandering around.
Oh my, no wonder. Well, and she's gonna reach back into her satchel and she's gonna pull out what looks to be a brochure, and then she's gonna look over to you and say, "I picked this up, right? Well, I say picked this up. This was given to me by one of the greeters when I arrived in Inkwell, and so far it's been rather useful. But you may want to stand back a little." And she's gonna pick up her drink, just shuffle off her stool, pick up her staff, and just take about 2 steps away from this piece of paper.
Oh boy. You see his brows furrow as he picks up the paper.
She's gonna say, "No, I wouldn't pick that up. If you just come stand next to me, I can show you."
All right. He gives you like a very confused look. One ear twitching a little bit before he just like shrugs and stands up and stands next to you.
Right then. So, be just a moment, and she's gonna take the satchel off of the hook of the staff and just put it back around her securely and taps it in place. Picks up her quarterstaff and is just gonna very slowly sort of wiggle it into one of the flaps of the brochure, and then, right, you may want to prepare yourself. And she's just gonna flip open that flap very gently, and I'm gonna make a dex save, and you may also want to roll a dex save.
Oh boy. Vulps, what is your dex save? Alright.
Damn, woman.
I mean, that's decent.
21.
Oh, okay.
You get Vulp. Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see. Okay, Vulp. You instinctively duck out of the way, and this woman was prepared. She steps out of the way as this seemingly folded up piece of paper just kind of unfolds and unfolds and unfolds and unfolds down the stretch of the counter with And all along the stretch of this counter, if there are any drinks, they are now looping over the top of the drinks and rolling across the countertops. Some parts have actually unfolded onto the stools you were sitting on, and over to the bottom of the like the floor, and basically all across this counter and all over the seating area, there is now a large map of what you assume is Inkwell. It is very bright, it is very animated and toony, and there just seems to be a lot of weird sound effects like boing and spring and doo 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 coming from it as it opens up. And this woman just rather did hit me the first time, I have to admit. It wasn't my most dignified moment, and she just looks at her staff and like brushes herself off a little bit and says, but this particular map, and she reaches out with her quarterstaff again and like pokes an area, and you see the map go and just wiggle a bit. It's very useful in trying to find specific places to visit, at least. So, if you'd like, we can find places that may be of interest to you. I can mark them down, and I can hand you, I suppose, either directions or some sort of note to help you find your way there.
Okay, so much happens in the span of like less than
So
a few
sorry.
seconds. No, it's so funny.
I'm so sorry. This is what happens when you let me speak.
No, it is wonderful, and like Vulp actually like the actually hang on. Yeah, that's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
Uh.
Okay.
Yeah. As I brush myself off, so much happens in the span of a few seconds. He instinctively ducks and dodges out of the way as this thing initially unfolds, and then like once the once the gag finishes and the map is like spread out basically entirely across the bar. He kind of just laughs. And when you finish speaking, he kind of like he kind of just nods and he says, "Yeah, all right."
She claps her hands together whilst putting her staff underneath her armpit. Just goes, "Wonderful, right then." And she did make sure to pick up. Actually, let me just roll quick intelligence. Did she remember to pick up her book? Remember to pick up your book before you went away, hon? Good. Pick up her book and her pen, or her piece of her writing utensil, before she left, and now she's flipping to an empty page. You can roll a perception if you want while she's flipping through this book.
Sure. All right.
Perception or an investigation? Up to you.
Is your investigation? Nah, let's go with perception. That's better.
Yeah.
A 15.
15. Okay. Well, first of all, you look at the book. That's, well, whatever the hell that is. That's not normal leather. I don't know what kinds of materials you're used to seeing books take in form in terms of covers, but whatever that is, it's not normal leather. It's very kind of shiny and sleek and looks oddly tough. Like there's a few little like scratches in it here and there, but they're very shallow, they're not very deep, and most importantly, there's a very strange overlapping kind of pattern on it. It seems to be strangely what's the word? Strangely layered. And as you also see her flipping through this book, you catch little images of many different kinds of creatures, anatomical sketches, creatures in a lateral landscape. They seem to be lizards of all shapes and sizes. Some are long, with small, prehensile little claws, and Most of them have wings, as she flips through. So you, huh, yeah, that they seem to be dragons. Yeah, and she just flips through, comes to an empty page, and then points her writing utensil at you and says, "Well then, what kind of places exactly are you feeling like going to for your little break away from work?"
Ah. See him kind of like pause, like, oh geez, he didn't think this far ahead. um, and oh gosh, Volp, what do you say? I hold him,
Takes the fox.
shakes him for the info that he is not telling me. Um, excuse me. I think,
You're good.
yeah. I think, yeah, you do see him pause,
Mm.
realize he did not, like, think this far ahead, and, he goes, honestly, I'm just looking for a bit of, light-hearted fun, I guess. That's something that would be right.
Well, light-hearted fun is, well, that's rather Anquil's whole thing, so that's easy enough to manage, and she writes something down in her book. She does look over at you and says, "Now, for reference, to know what you would perhaps consider light-hearted fun, what kind of job do you do? So we can try and get you a break from that in particular, perhaps?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see him kind of, pause and tilt his head as he rubs a hand at the back of his head, um, before he, says, well, I guess you could say I'm a soldier. I just got off duty recently.
Okay. Give me a second. Just nods her head and says, "I see. If you wouldn't mind me asking, what regiment were you with? Are you Anqualian? No, I suppose you wouldn't be Anqualian. You're new here." And she taps the writing utensil to her chin. Faruman, perhaps. I suppose that is a neighbouring
No,
country.
I'm from Clariona. I'm part of the planetary system over there.
You get very. She tilts her head like planetary system. She looks at you out the side of her eye, and she for insight.
Yeah, roll insight, but also you can roll perception or investigation.
They are all the same modifier.
Oof.
It's all a garbage roll.
Whoop.
That one, baby.
Man, you're having this is insight?
Yeah.
You are having trouble reading this fox. But insight or perception, not insight, investigation or perception, for something else. Because I want to see if you notice something.
Okay. Let's go again. Come on, honey.
Alright, yeah, I can work.
12.
I can work with that.
Okay.
So this fox you're looking at, seems to be pretty, I guess it would be odd for most Ryokan around here to be dressed like this. Namely because of how, fitted and how well made this fox's clothing are. In modern terms, these clothes are manufactured, not handmade, which in a D&D setting is relatively hard to come by. as I do a stretch, depending on where you are in story, you probably um, don't see this often with real kind, at least. But notably, you do notice something rather odd, specifically with Vulp's legs. Um, he looks like he's wearing metal boots. Um, but with the shape of how the boots end near the feet, they do not seem to be like proper Vulpine legs. There is something pretty odd going on there. Um,
Hmm. Okay. She. I'm gonna roll another intelligence. I want to see if she can come to a conclusion. Oh,
oof.
it's 11. She ain't got nothing. There are a few thoughts circling around in her head, but she can't come to any sort of conclusion, and she's not going to ask a soldier about his weird legs. Kinda. Look, do that. She's gonna look ahead. I'm like, alright then, soldier from somewhere else, then I presume. Hmm, I can't say I've ever heard of a place like that, and if you say it's a star. You Are you not from this? She seems to pause and think a few times and give you a slightly wide-eyed look, and she just leans in and says, "Are you not from this planet, then?" And she can roll an insight on her if you want.
Yeah, sure. Oh, buddy, what's your insight mod? Oh, that's what I thought. Not the wisest fox in the bush.
Fox. It's an 11. Well, it's pretty obvious. There seems to be like wide. She's staring at you very wide-eyed. Um, it could be shock. It could be curiosity. It could be. She could be any number of things that she's looking at you with, but she's leaning in and she seems interested in what your response is.
And he kind of just he kind of gives you like a how do I describe this? It's a kind of amused laugh before he shakes his head and he says, "No, I'm not from Story."
She blinks, is like, fascinating. My word, you're from another planet. Oh my word, that's. And she just sort of leans onto her staff and gives a bit of a laugh. Oh my word, you're from another planet. Oh my. Oh, goodness gracious, I thought exploring Zori would be, in of itself, a feat, but to go to another planet, oh, goodness gracious. And she reaches back into her satchel and pulls out like a little handkerchief and like a little red and gold handkerchief and just pats underneath her eyes like, oh, goodness gracious, and puts her hand to her chest like, oh, I haven't laughed like that for a little bit. Ah, goodness. Well, from very far away, then I presume. And she tucks the handkerchief back into her satchel.
Yeah,
Well then,
nods.
if you're... Well then, and she reaches out and just pats him twice on the shoulder. If you're looking for something a little more, if you're looking for low-stakes adventures, I have a list of my own of certain places that have been opening up, or, well, of interest to explore. If we go and look at here, she points down somewhere south of Dreamworkers, like on the very coast next to a river. There's this place here called Dragon's Home. I've heard that it's got some very interesting history that perhaps I'd one day like to take a look at. I've heard many fascinating things about that, but if you're looking for adventures with little stake, I have also heard rumours as I've been walking around and talking to many different toons and people of all kinds. There is actually, there seems to be something opening up around here, and she points again, just north of where she pointed before, like northeast, to a sort of foresty jungle area, and she says, there's a place, there's an odd little startup thing happening over there. I believe someone is setting up a kind of guild. If I can remember the name of it. And she's gonna roll a history. What's your history, Elizabeth? Yep, that's what I thought it was. Nice. Kind of tilts her head back and is like, I can't remember what the full name is, but I remember the initials. I believe it goes by the name EGAD. EGAD. That could be of some interest to you. I believe that's just like a little adventuring team. While she's doing this, she has been writing down in her book these sorts of places. Um, and she tilts her head, looks around, and all the little places on this map that are. I will say this map is also animated. Like there's like little cartoonish animations of the places representing this map. And then she just looks at you and says, "Is there was there anywhere in particular you didn't want to go? Things that would be off limits for you?"
You see him kind of like grimace, like he's trying to figure out how to put it. And he's just like, I'm trying to keep away from, high stakes fighting, territorial battles, anything like that.
And she nods, understanding. Yes, well, of course. She's just gonna have another look around this map. And then she's gonna point to the far northeast, and follow a trail of islands down, down, down before she taps on a place, just at the far northeast, of the map, the edge of a coast again, of a landmass, and she says, "There's this little place here called Chihiro. It's a place in a country called Ghibli. It's very nice, from what I've heard, very relaxing, it's beautiful scenery. I'm not too sure in terms of adventures what kinds there are, but I do know that it's a generally incredibly pleasant place to visit and just, well, if you're looking for a proper relaxation, that would be a place to go." She's gonna kind of write again down in her notebook. She's gonna write down Chihiro, maybe question mark next to it.
Oh.
Again, you are still looking for adventure, but if you need like just a break, good. And then she's just gonna kind of squint and tilt her head back at the map and just. Other than that, the only other places I have would be, well, points of interest for me, and she gives you a little bit of a side eye, then looks away, back at the map. I think that may not be quite what you're looking for, considering. I'm here to research two dragons, and that can be high stakes depending on, well, what sort of places you're looking for. Otherwise, I would offer you, I'd offer you, well, I'd offer you a chance to perhaps come along on a few expeditions of mine, but if you're looking for something low-key, that may not be appropriate.
I think Vulp kind of like laughs at that, like he does have like a chuckle, and he he kind of just oh, what do you say? He says, maybe after I've had some time to settle in here in Inkwell, at least.
She just nods her head and goes, "Oh, yes, of course. No rushing into things, mind you. Inkwell can be. I've only been here, how long have I been here? A few weeks, and I'll tell you, in those few weeks, Inkwell has certainly shown me some interesting things that I didn't even realize were possible. The thing about Inkwell apparently seems to be all about the things of the impossible, so it's a good place for you to come to have some light-hearted fun at least." And then she's just got a nod and hand over the list of things she's written down. I need to actually type these up because I should have been doing that as I was talking. And she's just gonna nod, hand them over to you, and be like, "Well, these are my recommendations at least. My apologies, I couldn't find any things that would be better for you, but..."
Oh no,
she shrugs her shoulders.
this works just fine.
She nods and says, well, I'm glad I could assist you. And she kind of blinks and looks back at where she put her drink and just kind of close the notebook, put it back in her satchel, lift up her drink and just give it another couple of chugs before. Oh, goodness, now I've got to work on putting that thing back. Oh, it's always a pain doing this. And she just sighs and looks over and says, I don't suppose you could assist me in putting this thing back up, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no, of course.
Unless you...
Let me...
You.
He's already moving to, like, help you with that.
Cool. And... Oh, gosh. She's gonna move over to it, and if you're gonna touch it, she's just gonna, like, quickly pat your hand and say, now, apparently there is a very particular way you need to do this. What you have to do, and she reaches her hands underneath, the map, which starts to give a bit of a wriggle. You rather need to do this. I was actually shown a technique similar to this on how to catch fish in a little country a few years ago. Well, quite a few years ago. You put your hands underneath the map as if you're trying to catch a salmon in the river. You wait for it to sit still. She waits till it sits still. Then you need to tickle it for all you've got, but you need to do it very, very quickly.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Yeah, he looks kind of... Huh. You see him, like, tilt his head like that, like that kind of, like, canine, sort of head tilt. And, as he does, in fact, kind of, like, lean over to follow your lead.
Okay. So you just slip your hands underneath the map. And it wriggles a little bit, and it just kind of tries to shuffle. She looks at you and says, now hold very still.
And he does.
And they wait to settle down. Once it's completely settled, she just looks over at you and says, now on the count of 3, tickle it for all you've got. Do you understand?
He just nods.
Okay, she's gonna nod back and look down at this thing, the little loops of her hair swinging over her ears. She says, all right then. On 3. 1, 2, and then she just goes to town on the tickling underneath. Don't... Hey, do you want to roll something for this, RV?
Yeah, you said this is like, this is tickling. Does this count as a dex?
It would count, I would say sleight of hand or dex, yeah.
Alright, let's...
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, your sleight of hand, you have no proficiency in sleight of hand, so you're just gonna...
Boy. Oh, boy.
Oh.
Boy.
It's okay, I think Vulp makes up for it.
Damn, Vulp! Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, you both. Vulp and Elizabeth. Tickle this thing. Vulp, you're a real kind. Not only a real kind, you're a foxy looking real kind. You have fur. That is extra tickle material. So as you're tickling this mood map, which is going as you're tickling it, you out of the corner of your eye, you do see the ends of them start like folding up. Elizabeth, the poor woman, she does start to tickle the map and it starts to giggle. But as it folds up, you just see her pull her hands away, slightly wonky, and as she pulls away, she gets a little paper cut as the paper just kind of slips back. Bugger! And she pulls her hand away and just looks at her hand like, oh dear, oh bollocks. As the map eventually just folds itself up into a neat little brochure which looks no larger than 3 folded lines long, and it's just... Right, ouch. And she just sighs and points at that thing and says, now don't you move. And she's going to take her drink and she's just going to plonk it on top of the map, which is just going to flap a little like before sitting still.
Oh
sigh.
my goodness.
She's just gonna look at her. She's got like a slice across her palm. And she's just gonna, oh dear, my apologies. I didn't want to bleed all over the floor. And she's
Yeah,
just
no problem. Can I see? Vulp's gonna hold out his hand. Oh, you have no proficiency in medicine.
That's alright. She's gonna hold her hand out and said, well, of course, if you'd like. But you can roll me another perception or investigation if you want.
Alright, let's do perception.
See if you notice something.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a perception roll.
Okay. Well, the first thing you perceive as you take this woman's hand and hold it in yours, yeah, the cut's in there. It's not super deep. It is just like a paper cut. It's just like surface bleed. It's not like bleeding yet. It's at that point before your body registers it's time for blood to leave it. So it's just like the angry line, but it looks like if you don't wrap it, it will start to like bead up a little. You also notice you take this woman's hand. Her hands are rough. Like she looks like she doesn't look like a delicate old woman. You do look at her and she is like, she looks like weathered is the word. She looks like she's been out and about quite a bit. Her hands are incredibly rough, incredibly dry, like workers' hands. Like she's been out every day of her life working either in fields or in rough work. Like these are not the hands of a delicate person.
Yeah, like she did say that she is a dragon researcher, so like
Yeah.
he's just taking that into consideration.
You,
Hmm?
sorry, there was another little bit with that 21. You also notice she does have rather tan hands and skin. You notice that around her left finger, it's slightly lighter, like at the base of her ring finger.
Huh. That is kind of odd. Just kind of takes that and file it away. Not gonna question that about somebody he just met.
Handshakes in law, but we can't access right now.
As he kind of he just goes, well, it doesn't look too deep, so I think shoot, I don't have any disinfectant with me. I think he's probably gonna grab a napkin and like, yeah, Vulp, you're just improvising here, aren't you?
Yeah.
I smack the top of this box. This bad boy has improvised medical care.
I hold him so softly, and you're gonna hear as you're wrapping her hand, you're gonna hear her mumble, I really should learn to bring with me more medical kits. Oh, he keeps having a go at me for not doing that, and I keep forgetting to do it, and I think I'll be fine, and usually I am fine. It's just a little scratch. It's not like I've broken my leg again or anything, honestly. It's just a paper cut, but no, he's just going to have another go at me if he finds out about something like this. And she kind of mutters under her breath, grumbling as you wrap up her hand.
Yeah, no, he kind of just chuckles as you're mumbling, and he's just like, gosh, yeah, no, I think Ron would get on my case about not bringing medical supplies with me either.
I mean, it's one thing if you're, it's one thing if you're out in the field constantly, but they even try and make sure I have a medical kit when I'm just in the office trying to, go through the papers. And she seems to be about to go off on a run, and she's going to walk over back to the bar, grab her drink. Well, she's not going to grab her drink, actually. She thinks about it, and then she looks at the piece of paper, and I'm going to roll her sleight of hand. See how well she manages this, because she is using it with her other hand. 13. She kind of pushes the drink with her right hand off and with like the back of her hand, and then tries to tug the piece of paper out without spilling it. The drink kind of wobbles a little bit as she does, and she reaches out to try and like not knock it over, and she just manages it, but the piece of paper in her hand just kind of goes oh, shut it, you. She shoves that into her satchel. She nods at you, Vol, and says, "Yes, I rather know the feeling of someone nagging you to take a medicine kit with you wherever you go. It's sweet at first, but at some points it's just too much." And she rolls her eyes, and I suppose it's just a way for them to show they care, you know.
I guess, yeah.
And she nods and looks over at the bar. She does kind of squint her eyes and narrow and says, "Oh, oh my, I think. Oh dear, I think your drinks. Ah, well." And she leans over and just kind of looks at. Because I don't think Vulp took his drink. Did he?
No, you didn't!
Vulp, buddy, your drink has basically tipped over the bar and is now dripping behind the bar.
Ah,
And just
shit.
onto the floor, and she just kind of winces and says, well. Oh dear. Okay, all right. And she's just gonna lean back. Kind of looks between you and the drink, and then you and then the drink, and
Yeah,
she just.
he's like already moving over, probably grabbed like a different napkin to try and clean up what he can as like the bartender also notices.
Gosh. The bartender throughout all this map time has just been in the back doing whatever. And has only just come back out.
I'm thinking of that one like anime where you see that like bartender who's like doing a mix drink, just shaking the thing in the background.
Absolutely.
Oh goodness. And oh gosh, what do you do? Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. I'm gonna always get another one later.
She just waves her hand away and says, "No, no, I insist I buy you another one. It's my fault. I opened the map on top of a bar. What was I expecting? I do apologize for the spillage. I made a rather unwise decision. She's gonna reach back into her satchel and pull out another couple of gold and just hand over and says, "Would you mind getting this man another drink? I appear to have spilled his over the bar. My apologies."
I think the bartender just kind of like nods, like yeah, and he's going to take that payment and grab another drink. And Volp, watching this, is just like, oh, you don't. Oh, okay, all right, thanks.
He's gonna nod and say, "You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome, young man." And she's just gonna hand you your drink whilst you're mopping up, and she's just gonna kind of squint at how you're mopping up. And with a napkin, it's like I feel like you grab a napkin and you try and mop it up and it just gets soaks in, and you grab another napkin, it just soaks in, you grab another napkin and it just soaks in. It's just like she squints and she's like, "Are you certain you should be doing that? It must be rather cloying to get that stuck in your fur."
Why was that the first thing you said? You're saying, buddy. You see him kind of just like look down at his at his hands, his little paw beans, and he's just like, he is a fox. He is a fox. He has paw beans. He's just like, it's fine. I've had worse in my fur. And he kind of just like does that like gentle, like he's like about to like shake his hands, but then he decides better of it, and he's just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna run to a washroom or something.
She's just gonna sigh and shake her head and just nod and say, "Well, yes, make sure you get that cleaned up and washed off. Honestly, having drinks get spilled on you is never fun. At least it didn't end in a punch-up this time." And she's just gonna take her drink, nod at the bartender in thanks, and probably just walk with you as far as you get to the washroom.
Yeah. And yeah, it does like wash up the scrub off the drink from his fur. Shakes it off as before he kind of comes back and sits back down at the bar to enjoy the rest of his drink. Well, a new drink, but you know.
Yeah. She's just gonna nod. Honestly, I don't have any other things to bring up that I can think of at the moment. I feel like, oh, go ahead.
I don't have much of anything either, but if you want to ask Vulp anything, you can, but he did tell you that he's not from Story. So, but if not, I can probably find a way to wrap this up.
Well, she would roll an insight to see if that would be a subject that wouldn't be a huge roach in privacy. Oh my word, woman!
I look away, roll again.
Better, add a 1 into that. There we go, an 18.
Okay, yeah, yeah, no, as far as you can tell, this guy doesn't seem to have much, qualms talking about where he's from. In fact, he did pretty much, straight up tell you that he's not from this planet. So, yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I know what she's gonna ask first, because I know what she's like. She's just gonna look at you and think back to how you introduced yourself as an off-worlder, and she's just gonna nod and say, so, this might seem a little odd to ask, because she takes another sip of her drink, and looks over at you and says, I don't suppose you've met any, or encountered any, draconic creatures out in space?
Oh, that is wonderful.
Woman is a dragon researcher at heart. I'm sorry.
And you see...
Her first question is gonna be, dragons?
I love her so much, and I think this does delight him as he kind of just kind of laughs, and he nods and he says, I mean, we got some dragons out in there. I did not give any of the other planets in Star Fox any other names. But he does nod and he says, I mean, I honestly, I don't know a lot about the dragons out in Syringa, but, we do encounter some, yeah.
Nods, just set up a smoke drink. So are all of your encounters with these particular creatures or beings, are they all combative, or are there some more genial creatures out there, would you say?
I've met a few genial on a specific planet at least, but
you see this woman slowly you know what? I'm just gonna roll stealth to see if she can do this suddenly. She's not gonna. I just want to do it.
Woo!
I have you got that 20 in this?
Oh my gosh!
Oh, don't see it, but she slowly slides the book out of her satchel onto her lap, and also her writing utensil, and just under the counter, she's gonna let go of her glass, and she's gonna put her hands in her lap and nod at you earnestly, and whilst you're not looking, she's gonna use her right hand and just start to slowly scratch things in whilst just looking at you and asking questions. And yes, please do on.
No, this is wonderful. He doesn't even notice. He's probably taking a sip from his drink. Actually, hang on. What is your con? Save. Yes, okay.
Drunk, can we get a fox?
He probably gets a little buzzed.
I'm gonna roll as well, just to see how blitzed she gets. That's an 8. She's had a long day, and she hasn't had enough water to counteract the amount of stuff she gets, which probably explains why she's being very dragon-focused at the moment. Eyes are slightly blurry.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. He's a little tipsy as he starts to drink and speak. not at the same time. Every so often he raises the glass to his lips, but you know. Um, and he does tell you a lot about this planet that he's been to, the genial where the genial quote unquote dragons have he's encountered, and it's probably because you're both a little buzzed that he eventually devolves into telling you about an adventure he's had on that planet.
Wonderful. She's writing down all the details, everything she can remember. She's writing down. Her handwriting is going to be sloppy. I don't know if she can read what she's written tomorrow, but she's definitely writing stuff down. And I think, let me just check something. She's just gonna kind of like nod and take those notes down, and man, once you finish talking about that, she's just gonna nod and say that was well, that's wonderful, that's fascinating. Oh yes, so she's just nodding. I think you don't need to roll an insight. You could tell that her nodding is more of a lolling of the head than a nod. She's trying very hard to not loll her head forward, but she just does occasionally just kind of slump forward and then slump back up, and it's like, yep, I'm definitely awake. And she just puts like she does unsubtly close the book with a thump and put it back in her satchel. So you notice that she's put the book back in her bag. You don't know when she got it out.
You're twitching subtly at that.
And I feel like she'd look out the window, see that it's gone dark, and then look at her drink and be like, I don't know what it is about Toon. I don't know what it is about Toon drinks, but they do work a number on me. My word, I might be too old for me. I think I'm too old to be out drinking like this anymore. And she just kind of, I'm gonna roll a dex save because she's gonna try and get up and not fall over. She is gonna lean on her staff as she does this. What is your? Okay, interesting. Okay. She reaches out her staff and she just like thumps the table occasionally as she reaches out and grips her staff, and then pulls it around, plonks it on the floor, and just heaves herself up, wobbles a little bit and has to readjust the staff and thunk it back onto the floor to hold herself up. She leans into it and is like, right, okay, I think as wonderful as it has been to talk with you, Vulp, I think it would be time for me to retire.
You don't really look like you need it. Do you need help getting to your bed, or?
No. I'm perfectly fine getting to my room. And she just waves her hand away, her head kind of thunked against the side of the staff, and just waves her hand. She's like, I can make it to my room just fine, thank you. I just need to remember where my room is first. And she's just gonna look around, look at where the entryway from where you came in. She's just gonna nod at you and say, when I remember what my room number is, I'll come back and tell you, and maybe we can have another chat tomorrow before we set off. She just reaches out and let's actually roll a whiz save here.
Oh dear.
You do this. Do it. Reaches out and she reaches for like your ear, but then she just kind of falls her hand down, instead just pats your arm. Is there any fur exposed on his arm?
Lower arm mostly.
Alright.
Let me pull up a sketch, because I did not finish his ref. His sleeves are rolled up.
Right, okay. I have not gotten a very good sketch for Elizabeth yet, but that's fine. That's fine, I'll finish her at some point. She just kind of puts her hand on your elbow, and then she pats your elbow, and then she just slides it onto your forearm and just pats your forearm, and then stops and just like, Oh, Matt, you are very soft. And she just pats your forearm again and just rubs it very slightly before taking her hand away and saying, well, it's been wonderful meeting you. You're a very interesting fellow, and should you ever wish to have a chat or head off on some sort of journey, I wouldn't be averse to it.
Oh gosh, dude, this is delightful.
Look, tipsy. Very tipsy.
Tipsy. Oh goodness.
Very tipsy.
Uh,
Tipsy old lady.
yeah, and Vulp, are you gonna stand up? No, you're not. You're probably just gonna. He does kind of like raise a brow as you pat his arm, like, oh boy, here we go. But he does he does kind of just laugh, and he's just, yeah, oof, I I look forward to speaking with you again. Thanks, Elizabeth.
She nods and she smiles at you and to roll me a very quick perception again.
Yes, let's
You
see.
can see something.
Woo!
God. 22, very nice. Clearly she's a bit hammered. She is leaning on her staff for support, which you notice is, it's both quite old wood of the staff, but there are also slight engravings, and small grip points on it. Not like it's been carved in and shaped in a specific way, but more like someone has taken the wood out, directly from the tree, sanded it down, and then left the bumps and grooves that have come from it in as natural holding points. So look, Elizabeth, and you see around her neck, she is wearing like leather armor, and well, she technically is wearing scale armor, but she is wearing a tunic of some sort and some kind of scale armor. Underneath that, you see like a glint of a chain around her neck, and the glint of something on that chain as it swings very slightly out from between the slip, or the slip of her tunic, then slips back underneath when she stands up. Gives a little roll of her shoulders, nods her hand, and says, nods her head, sorry, not her hand. She says, well, of course, Vulp. I hope I see you around at some point, and knowing Ike well, who knows when that will be, but hello. She's just gonna lift the little fingers up, turn around, and toddle off. On a roll survival.
Oh boy.
Can you find your way? Can you find your way to the front desk, honey?
Please. Elizabeth
desk.
beloved.
Sing.
Okay.
She does about as well as a drunk person would usually. She seems to almost head towards the front door, but then the receptionist yells, "Excuse me, if you're looking, are you looking for any assistance?" She's like, "Yes, I need to head to my room, madam, that's the exit. Let me show you the way." And this receptionist just sighs and gets up and walks around the receptionist desk and reaches out and takes her arm, and she just kind of, "I'm old. I'm not. I can move myself, thank you." "Of course, ma'am. Now, if you just follow me," and I just lead her away to her room. And as she passes where the bar is, she's just gonna call out, "I'll see you around, Vulp. Take care of yourself and remember to wash your hands." And she's just gonna walk to her room, and you're gonna hear the sound of a door slam.
I think like before she leaves view, Vulp just kind of raises his glass in her direction. And because I think it would be funny, I am going to roll a quick dex save for this fox boy to see if he topples over when he stands up next.
Wonderful. Come on, Vulp. What's that? What's that?
That was a dex save. Oh gosh.
Oh no, Why is it a 6+3?
He's a fighter. They don't have proficiency in dex saves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's a thing. So he stands up. He's still a little bit tipsy, and he does stumble a bit.
Would he bang his knee into, like, one of the chairs or a table going out?
Probably. As, before he, sighs and just casually moves the chair out of the way before he goes to his room.
Oh gosh.
And I think that's a perfect place to end the FPS.
Hey, yes it is.
Oh goodness.
It's just
Dude.
so gosh.
Thank you so much for playing with me. I adored this so much.
Goodness. Yes, you certainly enjoyed this.
Adore.
I pat you. Yes. Thank you for playing with me. I love your Foxman.
I adore this. This was adorable. This was very good. And thank you so much to our audience for listening both now and in the future.
Yes.
For now though, we are going to bid you a good time zone. Yes. Bye everybody.
Bye everyone.